you so much for the introduction. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. I see some familiar names. So thank you for spending your time on this busy time of the year to spend this next 15 minutes with us. My name is João Rodrigues, Portuguese. Not an easy name, but João Rodrigues is absolutely fine. I'm very delighted to be here with Chava today to take you through these topics that we live daily, and I hope you enjoy. Like I said, my name is João. I'm a member of the board of directors of B1 Solutions, also overseeing the UK operations and other markets and accounts, and also leading some of the company strategic initiatives like this partnership that we have with TMF Group. Our business, the way that we position ourselves as a company and within this partnership is to really be a Swiss knife to our customers in their business, in their expansion, in the challenges that sometimes we are exposed to almost overnight in short notice. And of course, that this is always a challenge, and this is what we are going to discuss here today. But before jumping into this topic, I would like also for Shabo to introduce himself, and then we can proceed with this exciting topic. Thank you. Shabo, to you.
Yeah, thank you, Joe. So thanks and hi everyone. It's very nice to see you, and indeed some familiar names here. My name is Csaba Farkas. I'm from TMF Group. I'm Global Head of Accounting and Tax Consultancy within TMF Group. So as for myself, I'm a qualified accountant and ex-Big Four advisor. Within this role that I'm Head of Accounting and Tax Consultancy, we basically provide, one of our core services is basically ERP localization services, but we also provide finance transformation, market entry expansion, and tax guidance services. So welcome everyone. I think it's going to be a very insightful webinar, and let's just start then.
Okay, good. So I would like to set the scene and take you through the complexity of the global growth of a company. Businesses, they usually thrive and they strive on local markets, and companies need to expand. They need to go abroad. They need to face and to try different markets. And when they try to unlock this opportunity, there are a lot of challenges that they don't even understand that are there, and they need to have guidance, and they need to have support on this pitfalls and this devil that lies on the details when you expand. Companies, when they expand, they need to comply with the local regulations. They need to understand how the systems that they are going to use in the different markets, on a rollout, on a program to expand businesses. What type of systems will they need? Not only ERP systems, but also integrations with a logistics partner, with tax compliance. How the operations will work together in an harmonized way, and in an integrated way. And then suddenly you have a lot of challenges ahead of you. Everything that on paper, on a business plan, that seems that some of the obstacles that were there or that were not there, suddenly you face them. And this is when challenges appear. That's when all the regulatory, operational, and financial challenges companies face, and they need someone to help them. They need partners. They need in this globalized world, a partner that can bring the local compliance and also to tackle the inefficiencies on the operations that they will have. And of course, if you don't foresee this, and if you don't have partners that can work with you, the risk of failing, the go-to-market is immense. And this is what companies need. They don't need a plan. They need more than that. They need partners to streamline these operations and to have a solid relationship and a one-stop shop, yes, like a unified partner to help them and to go through these challenges. And this is where we B1 Solutions and TMF. This is where we understood that there's a huge opportunity to bring this unified value to our customers, to our leads, to our partners, and there are a lot of opportunities in this world with M&A, carve-outs, expansion, and we join our combined expertise, B1 Solutions, experience in running programs, in understanding what is the right ERP strategy, can be with SAP, non-SAP applications, non-SAP ERPs, Microsoft. We offer we have different approaches to tackle different problems with the different levels of localization, security, data privacy, cloud infrastructure, and of course, all the expertise that TMF can bring on their numbers of years in tax, accounting, payroll, and local compliance services. And this is where we want really to play with our partners, to be a center of excellence for technology, compliance, and operational efficiency. This will be, in the end, a vital part of the success, and especially the timing when companies need really to reach out the market and not failing what on a nice deck, a nice presentation, on the wishful thinking, it would make sense, but of course that they will need help again on those details. And again, just to summarize, and before handing over to Shaba, in short, what do we pretend to bring to the table to our partners? The localization expertise, a global rollout program to deploy the ERP strategy, to offer a tailored solution that can match not only the time, but the geographies, the languages, the challenges that are identified, and to mitigate them. And of course, do this mitigation with by bringing the experience and also to bringing the speed for make things to happen. And this is what, in the end, we want to be, is to be this Swiss knife of unlocking the challenges. Is this easy? It's not. Is this what we do? Yes, every day. This is what we are bringing. This is why our customers count with us, and this is what we are bringing daily to the table, this value. And this is what we will continue to do even more now with this new partnership. Shaba, I speak a lot. I will also let you do some talking. Otherwise, I will take 50 minutes out of this web. Thank you.
That's fine. Thank you, Joe. Thank you. And indeed, and I think the main message really that you're also saying that is that we together, B1 Solutions and TMF, we support businesses at every stage of their growth and market expansion, basically. So it's a full life cycle solution that we offer, so that businesses can have a smooth expansion and seamless IT integration if they have a underlying IT project as well. So basically, we actually support at the pre, entry stage, which means that we assess the local countries, the local markets. We conduct due diligence works on both regulatory financial requirements, local accounting tax requirements, and also B1 Solutions can do the tailored strategies for SAP implementation and then the related compliance factors. Then at the market entry stage and the execution stage, basically what we do is we can handle the whole entity setup, make sure that there is compliances with the local laws, and the B1 Solutions can ensure that SAP systems are implemented efficiently, enabling real-time reporting. I'm going to come back to that point later during the presentation, but real-time reporting is very important, not just for this informed decision making, but also as a kind of statutory requirement as well in many countries. And also, as part of this execution stage, we actually help with the overall compliances, so taxes, accounting, payroll in every country. And then the post-entry. So if you think about a life cycle, then we have the post-entry. Then we can also provide the ongoing support, make sure that the systems and the compliance matters are factored in and optimized, and there is improved supply chain efficiency as well. So overall, I would say the result of this, and without talking about this too much, is that the business is fully prepared for every success, for the success in every stage, in every new market. Okay, so after this, let me just maybe talk a little bit about some of the current key trends that we see in accounting and in the accounting and tax world, and the role of ERP localization. So I'm going to share my screen to share a presentation deck that I have brought, and then we can just go through that. Yeah.
Sure.
So basically, if we want to talk about the different trends, then I need to talk about digitalization as a trend related to tax administration. So when companies are entering into a new country or set of new countries, then they need to adapt to real-time reporting very quickly. And why is that so? Because there is tax administration, different tax administration stages. So under this terminology that OECD uses, there is tax administration 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0. I wouldn't like to get into the very details of all these, but basically, tax administration 1.0 refers to the manual interventions, human interventions, manual processes, and time-consuming and not really efficient compliance factors. Later, there was a more heavy use of digital data and analytical tools by tax administration. So that's tax administration 2.0. There was also already real-time reporting and the digitalization of VAT invoices, already application of online cash registers, and building the tax rules into the ERP systems. So it was a more advanced tax administration. It also needed a more advanced ERP, underlying ERP system as well. And it has its drawbacks. So basically, compliance happens voluntarily, and companies can still be non-compliant. And also, compliance takes time, effort, and costs, basically. But then, basically, there is a new concept of tax administration 3.0, which refers to moving the tax administration closer to the ERP system and closer to the taxable events. So to have built-in compliance in the ERP systems in a lot of areas, to move the taxation closer to the taxable events, to reduce significantly the tax compliance processes, time and efforts, and to make compliance basically real time with low human intervention. And what that means? That means that ERP systems should be set up appropriately, should be configured, localized appropriately. Maybe another note on these trends is that there are no kind of one-size-fits-all solution. Every country is different. There are still countries which kind of under the tax administration 1.0, but there are countries with 2.0 stage, and there are countries which are already under the tax administration 3.0. For example, France, which is a very complex country, but in France, the income tax collection system, specifically for rental income, is basically can be considered under tax administration 3.0 because the tax is deducted from bank accounts basically automatically without any intervention. So every country is different. There is no specific timeline for this, but what is very generally there as a recurring theme in every country. So no matter you enter into Brazil, to Uruguay, or the Netherlands, or any APEC countries, there is digitalization and digital transformation. And this is one of the key global trends, and there are many different drivers for that. There are both internal drivers and external drivers. And let's discuss these trends, and let's discuss why companies embark such a difficult journey as the transformation journey. So here, the first point you can see also is the risk management. So it's one of the key drivers. Companies are looking to manage their tax and data point risks. Basically, they want to make sure that they know exactly what are the different requirements in each of the country. They know what data points are needed to optimize their tax structures. And on the other side, they want to be compliant. They need to know how being compliant, how they can also mitigate their tax exposures and minimize their taxes. So on one hand, they want to be compliant, but on the other hand, they want to also minimize their tax liabilities. And here we need to say that the more complex the tax data points are and the tax rules are, the more challenging the tax transformation process is. Every year, TMF publishes our GBCI report, which is a global business complexity report, and it shows really that the more complex the country is, the more data points are needed and the more difficult the transformation project is. The second item is the resources, and I think it's very important. We're going to talk about that a little more, but just to mention a few things about resources. So when we speak about resources, we're not just talking about the availability of resources. There is a scarcity of resources who are able to conduct these transformation projects, but also there is a change in the risk in the resource profile. So there is a need to have those tax-savvy tax professionals within companies who just don't not only understand the tax and accounting requirements, but they also, and not just tax professionals, but they also have the right technology background, basically. And this is very much needed for the ERP projects as well. And also there is the question when it comes to transformation projects of whether we should maintain these skills centrally, globally, at global level, or locally. And it again actually refers to the complexity of the countries. So if there is more complex country or more data points are needed, then there is more chances, there is higher probability that there would be a need to maintain local resources. The third one is the operating model change. So that's a key trend that we see in the accounting and tax world. So there is more trend towards the centralized operating model, whether it's an internal centralization or external centralization, so shared service centers, or external reliance on outsider partners to outsource for, or it could also be a question of centrally delivering the compliance works or the transactional works. It also again refers to whether a country itself is having difficult data points, difficult tax and accounting compliance matters, or not. And the last point is the regulatory changes. There is a lot of changes, role of updates, not just the tax transformation 3.0, but that's one of the more significant ones. So just the key highlights here, because I know there was a lot of points. There are more and more data points required for companies. Companies are centralizing more and more. There is a scarcity of resources, and there is more and more real-time reporting as a result of all these. And that's why we need to talk about the ERP localization itself. from an accounting and tax perspective, and I'm sure Joe will speak about the IT perspective. From an accounting and tax perspective, expanding into a new country or set of new countries is an exciting opportunity for growth, but it also really does introduce key challenges. So every country has its own tax codes, tax requirements, VAT codes, VAT rules, tax deductibility rules, and the ERP system should be adhered to these requirements. I'm not going to talk about different exceptions maybe later during the webinar, but there is a lot of differences between the countries. Then the global operations. So localization, ERP localization is really ensuring that the ERP system is tailored to meet the specific requirements. So even though there is an overarching global view for decision making, but there is a need to be localized and to maintain this consistency throughout the global operations. The third point is reducing risks. So ERP localization is not just let's say an optional choice of entities, but they need to do that. They must do it, and because of the requirements, there are many countries which not just permit but which require companies to have a certified ERP system, to have certain processes in place to basically report real time and to submit different forms from the ERP system, not outside of the system, but from the actual ERP system. And the fourth point is, I think, the most obvious one. So for an informed decision making, it's very important for all the stakeholders to have a localized ERP system, because this really creates trust, and this creates the right data points really to prepare the financial figures, and also to bring strong reputation in the new countries. So ERP localization is more than a technical necessity. It's a strategic enabler to market expansion. And by adapting ERP systems to local requirements, businesses can be not just compliance and not just reduce compliance and operational risks, but can have a solid foundational basis for success in the new markets. So I think that's it from the accounting and tax world, just in a nutshell. I just hand it back to you, Joe. How do we see these trends in the from an IT perspective?
Robert, thank you. Well, more than seeing the trends on the IT, I would like to just make another comment about what is the common pitfalls that we have, and then I will jump into the trends immediately. Usually, the common pitfalls, they lay down into four foundations. The TLS, so three tax, legal, and statutory challenges that we have, and then more and more on data privacy and data security. This is also getting to be a trend, but not more than a trend, is starting to be law, and it needs to be present in the systems when companies expand, and they need to be compliant with data privacy and data data security regulations. But regarding the trends on the space, today ERPs they need to have more and more a very strong, very stable financial core. And a very strong and very stable financial core to accommodate the tax compliance, the legal and the regulatory variations that we have, and sometimes the statutory reporting challenges that you also have. And you previously you mentioned about your pre-market services and all the preparation that is needed for a company to start operating on a specific market. This is critical. I have witnessed cases in which everything was in place, but then someone forgot that just to enable the VAT licensing it will require three weeks, then lost. So and then customer got lost, and we lost 2 months with everything ready. And in fact, it even missed a very specific date to start selling and to start their logistics operation on a country, and this cost them a lot of money. So knowing this is critical. But on an ERP with a very strong financial core is something that companies really need to have present, needs to be on their first level of choice when they go on an expansion journey. And it's not only when they are expanding to countries that are developing and that are even transitioning from administration 1.0 to 2.0. Today we see markets like the US and another one like Brazil, in which country codes, tax calculations are complex and require tax engines and require something very critical, that is resources. Sometimes this level of knowledge is not within the company. It needs to be a combination of the company's knowledge, the IT partner knowledge, and the tax partner and the accounting partner knowledge. And these three teams really need to work pretty much together. They need to work very, very close, because entering some of these markets is a minefield, and we need to know where to step our foot in. And the systems art and companies like SAP and Microsoft are putting a lot of their energy and a lot of the roadmaps in addressing this transformation and this compliance. And this is we as a partner are also doing, is enabling our consultants to be more and more experts in this level or in this skill set. Because this is where we see more common pitfalls, and this is where we see more need for knowledge, that is tax compliance, legal and statutory variations, and statutory reporting challenges, and on another level, data security and data privacy. And these are the trends, and these are the expansion. I will not talk about cloud and AI, because this is something that companies can focus on later, after having this clean core, this foundational pieces of their operations up and running. And this is where the foundation should start. It needs to be solid so that it can then run. First, it needs to walk, and this is the foundation of also our partnership, is to avoid mistakes, especially stupid mistakes that will cost time and money. And yeah. We can have some examples, but I will also have to have your thoughts on this before we discuss some real examples of this. Want to say some additional words, Shaba, on the ITs? Want to have your words on this, or should we?
Yeah. So I agree. I think the IT part is really what is kind of enabling the whole, I would say, the ecosystem. So the IT landscape is definitely improving, and it's complementary to the accounting and tax part. So one doesn't go without the other one, right? And the other point I just want to highlight, and you touched on that, is that there is no one size fits all type of solution. So every and each case needs to be kind of treated in an isolated manner, right? I don't know how you see that in your experience, but what we see is that yes, there is the overarching, like there is the key framework, the foundational basis for all these projects, which is yes, you have a first stage, and then you basically identify the target companies, you identify the markets you want to enter into, and then you have the kind of execution stage when you kind of make sure that the ERP system is getting up to speed, and then the post implementation, you have the trainings. But every not just every country, but every client is somewhat different, and I think we need to treat them uniquely, in a unique manner. Maybe I just wanted to add that on top of what you mentioned. Like there is there is a need for those. There is definitely a need for you guys, for the IT, let's say, implementation partners, but there is also a need for those who don't just understand the rules and the requirements, but they have the right, let's say, mindset and IT and tax knowledge. I would call them tax and tech gurus. It's like those tax professionals which are who are a bit tax savvy, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
yeah.
okay. So let's dive a little bit more on what you said and build on top of this tailored approach. You know, the way that we approach our projects, and we are experts in running programs, and the program is something that is tailored to a customer. This approach means that we have a conversation with a customer that is taking the first smart decision, is investing in an ERP system early. So he understands the value of an ERP, and he understands that a common ERP with best practices, with an harmonized way of working, needs to be in place to support his expansion. And this is the first foundational rule for success. I have an ERP in place. I have adopted it, and now I'm expanding a core model, and I'm running a program to expand to the different markets. Then we start with this TLS, tax, legal, and statutory gaps in the different countries, working together with you to understand which countries to move into, what are the expected timelines when the customer expects to be operating in the different markets, and then we build a case around this. But the customer already took the second smart decision, that is to choose a partner with localization expertise, someone that understands the big picture, the best practices, that wants to give to the CEO or to the C-level informed decision making globally, not only locally, but that can take this to the local markets with the localization expertise that starts, like you said, and I'm going to say this again because this for me is very important, with the pre-market assessment and understanding what you need. And then we start to leverage technology like automation, and automation I'm referring to integration with third-party logistics systems, with customers through EDI, ordering, through EDI invoicing, through order systems, and today, of course, using the AI technology that is available for our customers, using LLM models, large language models, to speed up things like field servicing, or order taking, or complaint management, these type of things. But again, technology needs to come after knowing the plan, knowing the practices, knowing what is the TLS, understanding the framework and the timeline, and then jumping into the market. And then, of course, when you have this, you also need to take into consideration the technology framework and the technology infrastructure, and everything that is related with topics like GDPR and data privacy and data security, so that you can also design the customer's infrastructure to make sure that you are hosting the data in the right place, in the right data center, that you are not violating any GDPR data, and that you have your data secured and private. And this is how we frame, like you said, we tailor, because this is tailored by customer. This you don't have a package. You cannot buy a package of expansion. All businesses are different, companies are different, and even within a program, sometimes you are transforming from tax compliance 1.0 to tax compliance 2.0, and you need to have this knowledge, this awareness inside the team, so that you can also steer, you can also govern, and you can also make the right decisions. And sometimes, okay, and this happens a lot, let's do Austria before doing Turkey or before doing Brazil or before doing US because something is changing and we need to tackle this because now we have these legal regulations. And of course, that the frameworks in platform like SAP, Microsoft that are delivering solid ERPs with foundation, with a very strong tax, legal, statutory compliance to address and to make sure that the plan, the go-to-market strategy is not impacted by tax, neither by technology, neither by infrastructure. Again, this expansion and a global expansion or a regional expansion, it's about ambition, but it's mostly about preparation. This is what will make companies to be successful. This is what will allow them to navigate in complex markets. This is what is going to make companies to be faster, to be smarter, and to navigate with less risk, and will allow them sometimes even to go a little beyond what was expected because they know that they are covered. Again, for me, in life, preparation, hard work is the key, and having strong allies to go through life. And then when things go wrong, to make sure that your fellow colleagues are there for you. And that's it. That's why we are here. This is why to be this brothers in arms with our customers.
Yeah, I agree, Joe. Just to build up on your point on the preparation, that's key, and this is what we also see. And when I was mentioning about this foundational basis of like how the structure of ERP localization, ERP projects in general, what I meant is really that the first step really is to collect the right information, about the local requirements, accounting requirements, tax requirements, the IT needs, the IT requirements, the certification of the ERP systems. So when we do that, this is really the basis upon which then you can build the whole project framework on. You also have different requirements from a storage perspective. There is a lot of questions, and what we see, because we are the ones pretty much involved in those initial stages, what we really see is that clients are really interested these days about the archiving requirements, which interestingly is a really key information. There is also changing rules around that. There are many countries which require you to store for 4 years. There are some 5 years, 8 electronically or hard copy. So this is really going back to your preparation point. And then once we did that, then there is the stage, usually this gap analysis. Then we see, okay, so we need to come to this point. This is the desired outcome. Then we have now this situation. We're going to have this system. There is a bridge, there is a gap. We need to identify the technology gaps, but we also need to identify the kind of data
Yes.
gaps. Like, are there any considerations that we need to have support with, or are there any data points we don't have currently? Are there any solutions that we do outside of the system without an ERP system that we should do actually within the ERP system? And then if we kind of breach that, then we can identify the right solutions. How should the ERP systems be configured, localized from an IT and accounting and tax perspective? Are there any workaround solutions? Because I'm pretty certain that you also do have those cases when you need to think outside the box. And this is where I think your kind help kind of comes into play, right, with your expertise and experience. And then related to that, how the processes should look like. Companies need to create different processes, and that's very important and sometimes ignored in our experience by a lot of companies, that they don't have the right manuals, they don't have the SOPs, and that can make the work it is a front-loaded, like heavy exercise at the beginning, but then it will make the job much easier later and can help companies grow as well.
And things changes very fast. I think today things in business they change very fast.
Yeah.
markets, business units, carving out companies, merging other companies, anticipating the go-to-market in some markets, shutting off companies and transferring assets, liabilities, teams, enabling shared service centers. All of these things require this level of agility, and
Yeah,
it's not even thinking outside the box. Sometimes even thinking with two boxes at the same
exactly.
time in a different universe. So it's um, the good thing on this business is that every day is different from the day before. So it's
Yeah,
it's impossible not to be better the day after. At least this is what we try to do, to be better tomorrow than we were yesterday. So these challenges make us again. This experience is unique because this is the only thing that we do, and this combination is I think this is something that is unique on the market. There are not you don't have this level of knowledge stock like we are combining. We are giving our customers the ability, with the trust that we want to bring and the expertise, to focus on the business, to focus on what they know how to do, that is to sell, to deliver a service, and trusting that everything that is related with setting the companies, keeping the operation running, doing things like invoicing, doing delivery notes, raising a sales order, paying taxes, completing the month-end payroll, doing the month-end deferments um, is uh, is something that is running on the back of the business without any disruption, without taking focus from the business. This is, in the end, our end goal, and this is what we expect to be almost in the after things are set up, to be silent and work in silence.
yeah, agree.
Okay, on my side, I'm run out of water, so I have now started to have difficulty to talk. I think that we are pretty much in time, right, Angeline? Maybe
Yes,
we can open
right.
some Q&A.
Yes.
Um,
So this is a Q&A session, and anyone has any questions? Um, I think here I received a few questions. So maybe Joel and Shaba, you can help to answer these questions. I received first question is, how long does a project like this would look like?
Yeah. So, well, I think I mean maybe I answer from kind of subject matter expertise, like accounting and tax perspective, and then maybe Joe, you can answer that as well. I think it really depends. Um, it depends on the complexity, as mentioned. It depends on the data points required. On average, from a kind of ERP localization perspective, which means like the gaining clarity over the accounting and tax rules, having the right setup configuration, it would take a few months per country. But that's like on the very minimal side of things. Plus, we have to consider the training time. So training is very important. Training and processes are the two factors that usually are somewhat ignored by many companies because they usually take long time and the benefits are not seen in advance. So trainings are important, even shadowing or following around individuals using the new ERP system. So that would take much longer. And then the processes, process descriptions, process manuals, policies. So, and there is definitely a stage when there is the knowledge transfer. Until the knowledge transfer is complete for each and every person, we can't say that the ERP project is done really. So that's my short answer. Joe?
Sure. And I will corroborate that. That it really depends a lot. Usually a program can take 3 months, can take 3 years. Depends on the number of countries. Depends on which countries.
Yeah.
Depends on how ready the customer is. But it really depends. What the difference is. We will tailor this, and in the end, whatever we will come up with a timeline based on a use case, on a business case, it usually it will match how long it will run. So we focus on the accuracy of our estimation after understanding the scope based on our experience. So, but it will depend. Always it will depend. I have programs running that took 3 months, others took more. And in the end, this is a continuous improvement journey that we embrace with our customers.
Yeah. And
Thank
maybe
you.
just to add on that point, I think it also really depends on the part that we are contributing to. So now what we are saying is that there is an ecosystem, like there is a cooperation between TMF and B1 Solutions. But usually I would say that the IT part is taking longer, because basically we are the ones focusing purely on the accounting and tax and other compliance areas. But then really it's the IT deployment partner, B1 Solution, who needs to actually do those setups, and then we validate those rules. From our standpoint, we actually can do the work as fast as we can, but then the testing, the overall validation is really time consuming. So it really depends, really, as you mentioned, Joe, I think on the country, on the client circumstances, on which area we are talking about, just the ERP localization from accounting and tax perspective, or the overall program. And also, I guess, depends on whether it's what type of project is it? Is it a big bang? Is it a phased project? So there could be many factors. Sorry, just to add a few more thoughts on that.
Great.
Thank you, Shaba. Thank you, Joel. Yeah, I think the answer you shared has covered pretty much. So we still have another 2 questions here. I think maybe you also partly included. Another question is, what are the steps for the projects? Do you have any additional points to these questions?
Yeah, I think it's pretty much what we mentioned before is really that first thing to do is really collect this data, and then the gap analysis, and then I think the one which we didn't really discuss, but basically identify the right solutions, right? And then the decision. So the decisions part is an important part, because whatever decisions companies will make, that will have a huge impact on the processes overall, the costs, the way we need to approach the project. So what do I mean by that? As mentioned, do we need to conduct a big bang project or a phase project? Do we where do we need to do the ERP? So what is the timeline for the ERP localization projects? What are the go live dates? Are there multiple go live dates? What are the costs? Like, are we okay to absorb the costs? Hopefully we're not using a shift and lift approach, because that's something that we want really customers to avoid. But we need to make, I mean, companies need to make a decision or make decisions around that. And then what would be the processes after all? So I would say that maybe the decisions is the one which is very important. So there is four stages in my view: data collection, gap analysis, solution identification, and then decision making.
Yes.
As part
Yeah.
of the process.
I think you summarized it all. These 4 stages, in the end, one of the things that we all always like to bring to the table is a risk mitigation plan, because this is which is cross to all these four, and based on these four stages. And every case is unique. It depends on a lot of variables, starting with time, cost, resources, knowledge, and clarity, and then urgency versus priorities, and we will have a plan. That's it.
Okay. Thank you, Shaba. Thank you, Joel. Okay, so we have these last questions here. It's what are the common pitfalls and how do you mitigate them during the project?
Okay, the common pitfalls. is lack, well, the common pitfalls when you go with this without this level of expertise into an expansion project are falling into tax, legal, statutory, and again, data privacy, data security issues. When you move to a country like I said in the past, like Brazil or India or even the US, setting up taxes, setting up your tax engines, setting up even your companies requires expertise, requires time. You need to have a lot of technology enabled to communicate your VAT declarations, your invoices, your delivery notes. All of this needs to be properly set up on an invoicing system, on a finance system. And usually, not usually, in companies sometimes think that this is just a plug and play, lift and shift, and then everything is up and running and it takes a couple of days. This is one of the common pitfalls, is the lack of understanding of the requirements. The other one is when you move into a country and this is for me the biggest one, and you think that you will find a partner that will understand your business the next day. This is tricky. This will lead to frustration. This will lead to more cost, not only in sometimes paying twice for the same services, but also on the opportunity cost that you will lose on this journey on finding the right partner. So that's why, again, preparation, knowledge, partners is the foundation for this. These are for me the two biggest pitfalls of an expansion program.
Yeah, totally agree, Joe. I think I would add probably costs. So costs are important to understand from the beginning what that would involve. And also regarding the costs, I would say that what we also see is that sometimes businesses are not always super clear on the processes, but it's not just the future processes, but even the current processes. So I know it's time consuming. I know it could be an effortful exercise, but it's really important to map out the current processes, the current business flows, and to make sure that everyone understands what is happening now, who is doing what are the key responsibilities, almost like a quick RACI matrix exercise, like responsibility assignment matrix exercise. And then at the end, the processes should then be documented. So it's not just that we or someone conducts an ERP project and then off you go, you just use it.
Good luck.
Basically, we need to make sure that the solution is maintained in a way that can be maintained in the long term. So the processes are well documented and identified with process maps, flow charts. But yeah, totally agree with the people. We also often see that we are involved at the stage when something already went wrong, and then it's much more even costly. And from a timing perspective, it's not ideal. So to identify the right people probably is another important one.
Nice point. Okay. I think we answered this question.
Yes, I think that's all the questions that I received.
Really?
Yes, thank you so much, Joel and Shaba. Just wanted to know if anyone has any more questions from the from this webinar. Please feel free to drop your questions in the chat or the Q&A session. Okay, I think that's no more questions. Any additional sharing from Shaba and Joel to the participants?
I would like just to say thank you first to Shaba for the amazing partnership. To you, Angeline, for putting up together the webinar. I think it was really smooth, really good, nice content. Also want to thank everyone that was on the webinar to take that time. I hope that we could contribute with our experience to the topic and to the knowledge that they will take from this webinar. And I'm very grateful for the for the time that I spent here with you today, and for the ones that celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas to everyone, and see you soon.